when you have a coherent state. And so that inner child magic works through you with the balance of your divine masculine in your mind and your divine feminine. And by balance, I mean that what comes up doesn't have to be suppressed down because you delight in yourself. This is why self-love is important. Loving yourself first, knowing how to, creates the Pacha handshake when you have attachment trauma information, 5D mystics or not, that leads you to understand the importance of the whole self, which a lot of people don't know what it is. So let me share. Empowerment, for one, is not about being unapologetically rude. When we see those people who are yelling at each other, I call them Cuscos or squirrels from Cusco town because they're quite ego sensitive. They have not healed their projection, their unfinished business. In fact, they are using it. It's called they have not recovered from trauma yet, and their adaptive child is leading the way, which is why we got the groups that we got online. So they don't know how to laugh at themselves. Let's do Sadhguru for a minute. If you learn to laugh at your own stupidity, all your rubbish will turn into manure very fast. And manure is good for growth. Yes, it is. So, oh, I love him. But let's also look at Patrick Tinahan, childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing. He's a therapist. He's great. He's online. And just one of the aspects that he shares in his most recent post, which is in order for a person to have a healthy sense of self, you need to have safe parents. So when you understand the whole self, it's a secure attachment person. It's a whole 3-year-old heart. It means you have no trauma charges lingering, which is why I can look in your eyes as a Pacha, not be reactive, because I have the freedom in my mind because I believe in myself. I believe in myself because I was allowed to be lovingly accepted, and I didn't work for love at all. And all my basic childhood emotions, all of them, they were not suppressed. I was not fearing getting screamed at or yelled at or any of that. Like a little soldier is the word that I'm going to use because I see that happening a lot. Oh, my kid, they're rude. Let me go scare them for a minute. And the adults that don't understand, authoritarian, not going to help. Permissive, not going to help either if they were attachment. And some are getting attachment and trauma informed. Then thing is, first you're going to need to delight in yourself. So working with your embodied brain, because otherwise your behavior, which is not going to be pathologized by good therapists, it will be explained to you what the first 3 years of your life is, the implicit memory, the explicit memory. They will explain to you what biologically rude. So maladaptive is because you're reactive, which is why when people are either yelling at each other or picking sides, I call those people, they have the Lost Boys, Lost Girls with Peter Pans and Wendy's. So yeah, we see a lot of people that don't have a whole self. In fact, they are in magical thinking, and I'm the 5D mystic here. That's why woo-woo pseudoscience is great and dandy for me, because I'm not a flat earther. No matter what belief system you may have, the religious belief system, spirituality belief system, whatever your belief system, you put it to the side if you're a functional adult, because it means you know how to use your actual human being, emotional, mental brain, because you're not being reactive. If you're getting reactive inside, you don't have a coherent state. So coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. Lots of people love to use spirituality and they do spiritual bypass. We're anointed. We're a group of special people saving other people. Does anybody know what a codependent martyr superior does? They think they're saving people. They don't give up on relationships like the blamer, but the blamer turns into the victim once they get basically fed up from putting up with the superior martyr. So they tend to have this fact. When I look outside in the world, whether it's Twin Flame Saga or people that are coaches, or people that are actually thinking they're empowering women and they are a codependent woman. So yeah, when I see that, so magic works through you as an individual whole self. Healthy self-worth means you have your inner child, and that means you delight here. So you don't have revenge, envy, spite, jealousy. If you have any of those emotions, those are part of the emotional plane, if you will, even though we have 6 basic emotions. So what I mean is that people can experience all of those words that I just said. What you will notice is that if you have no issue with yourself, you are not going to feel the need or the desire or the want. None of unkindness comes up from you. As the healthy sense of self-worth is using inner growth. Let me think. Oh, I have anger right now. I'm going to manage my anger. I'm going to manage my tone. Thank you, Mother. So again, you need a safe environment in order to develop a healthy sense of self. So we're going to talk about that, which is why even when life stings, we see a bigger picture. And so I want to revisit what is the exact title, and then we're going to go from there, because otherwise I will lose you all. So empowerment, whole self right here, doesn't mean perfection, not in any way, shape, or form. It means I don't have low self-esteem. I will not indirectly communicate to you. I will not be passive aggressive. No, I will actually spell out, like a functional adult, all that I'm feeling, all that I'm thinking, and I will not be tending to your nervous system. Thank you, Mom. I'm not here to nurture you. I'm not here to be your parent, so I'm not going to be a codependent item. I'm not going to pat you on the back. I'm not going to take your side. I'm not going to do what the unfinished business childhood trauma person, which I have all the compassion for, but I've seen the adoptive child as they lead the way and they project. And when you don't take their side, that's step 4 for recovery. It's they want bystanders to take their side. I'm not going to take a side of a person who doesn't see clearly, because you're tainted with emotions and you're telling me somebody doesn't deserve love because your relationship went into a certain way. And it's like, don't you know that sometimes people don't like each other? So the self-worth person doesn't feel unworthy or like they gave up life, or like, this is the whole part. Relationships are not a job. When you have a safe environment, you learn to be your own safe haven. Thank you, Mom, to regulate your highly sensitive emotional stuff. And whenever somebody says, yeah, too much, okay, well, I guess bye. I'm going over there. I'm not going to ask you anything, because the minute you say it's too much, that's who I am. I'm going to be emotional. If it's obviously too much for you, I know how to be accountable. I'm so sorry I brought it your way. I'll take it with me. And thank you so much. And there you go. And nobody's crying about it in the sense of, oh my gosh, my life just ended, or let me become a misanthropist. No, we don't hate or distrust humankind. I don't personally. Let me become a misandrist. No, I don't have hatred of men. Misogynist, hatred of women? Nope. Or sexist? Nope. Not any. Misogamist, person who hates, avoids, or opposes marriage? No. Actually, marriage is a very beautiful thing, but you need whole self people in order for them to actually create what is an independent relationship versus a codependent relationship with. And let me pause right now and reiterate. So a whole self, it's a whole 3-year-old heart, because you've been able to process all the emotions that come up. So you don't have impaired bilateral integration. That means the left, which is our verbal part of the brain, chit chatter, and the right, which is the nonverbal, which means everything that comes up, I have a window welcome, me, the host here, for my emotions, because I did have a safe environment where I was allowed to express all of the basic emotions without suppression. Suppression is a word that means something to the embodied nervous system of an infant, which is why Gabor Mate says a child needs to be lovingly accepted, not work for love, and have the basic human being emotions there. When you see revenge, envy, and spite, those are all low self-esteem human beings who were shamed in one way, shape, or form at some point. So they have an attachment wound, they have a trauma wound, which is why I, as a Pacha, won't take your side when you're dehumanizing another human because you're upset. I know that you're a low self-esteem, emotionally immature person who's not taking your emotional accountability and say, I'm really angry right now, which is why I'm speaking shit out of my mouth about a person. Just a random example, which is very different if I know, okay, I'm upset, so I want to have a share with my friends, but it's not what's happening and what we see online. People are using their unfinished business, their trauma, to talk about genders, to talk about relationships. So here's what empowerment is not. Empowerment is not that. You're not going to be fearless and bold by screaming all the stuff that people do. Hatred, hatred, hatred. Love is because you know compassion and kindness, because I'm flawed and imperfect, so are you. But the difference is I don't have trauma charges lingering. So when I don't take your side and you tell me that I'm a quote-unquote piece of shit, I'm not a piece of shit. You're the one who doesn't know how to handle your emotional plane or how to handle learning about attachment and trauma information, FYI, which is there's plenty of people online trying to support people to get into, FYI, 5D relationships. We love each other as we are. We support each other and we tell each other we're part of a herd. behave. Thank you, Mom. Don't be rude. Always be kind. Say what you can to be, in a space of mutual understanding. Tune in.